And there we go. We are recording. Hello, welcome back. It's been a long time. It's been a minute and a half, I think. Happy New Year, fellas. And this is episode 16 of the RCC PLodcast. And all will become apparent shortly, but we might have a new place to house these episodes. So first of all, before we introduce our guest, and I know he's on screen, but anyone listening to the audio, Happy New Year. And what have you been up to, Freddie?
Happy New Year, mate. It seems weird saying that now, doesn't it? 'Cause it's like near the end of January
Yeah.
now. But yeah, I've been good. It's been a good start to the year, I think. I mean, it was a good end to the year. Well, I say that, fucking hell. Apart from my dog dying, of course. That weren't much fun.
Yeah.
But no, the start of 2025 so far has been really good for me. I've been using the Runner app, which is a first. Anyone that knows or follows my videos, my running normally consists of what do I fancy doing today, and out I go and just do whatever. But this has been a bit of structure. It's what am I 3 weeks into that structure, and I'm already seeing the benefits of it. I get it now, you know. And I'm not saying that Runner is the be all and end all, but certainly having structure into my training program has been, I'm really enjoying that, and I'm actually in a weird way enjoying being told what to do every day. Because that's what the Runner app does, right? I wake up and it says, right, off you go, and I'll just do what it tells me. But yeah, no, I've had a good start to the year. How about yourself?
All right. This week's been crap. Been poorly, thanks to my daughter giving me her lurgy that she's brought home from college. So I haven't run since last Wednesday, and we're now on the following Monday. So this week's been but as our guest chatted to us in the background the other day, sometimes it's good to take a break. And for the first time in 2 years, this is the longest I've had the foot off the gas. So I'm hoping it's going to do me some favours in the long run. But apart from that, yeah, steady away. I'm helping James on his marathon plan. He's got the Leeds Marathon in May, his first ever one. So put a plan together, an 18-week plan together, and it started a couple of weeks ago. And he's steady away, pushing him, keeping me on his back.
He's doing really well. I saw he did a 5 miler a couple of days ago, and he put in our WhatsApp group how he basically was just in that flow and probably the best run he's ever done. And when I looked at his timing that he was doing, he's definitely getting quicker.
Yeah, he's got the bug. He has definitely got the bug. Yeah. It's good to see because I've been out all week poorly, so that was nothing to do with me. He got off his own back. He works long days at a power station. He's got a manual job, so he's constantly on the go. So he got home, ditched his gear, and he was off out and ran 5 miles encouraged by me. So hats off to him, you know.
Yeah, good man. Keep going, James.
Yeah, definitely. So, can I introduce our next guest?
Go for it.
Everyone that's watching this has seen him for the last 5 minutes thinking we're going to speak to this poor chap. Anyone that's listening and doesn't know yet. So, I found this channel through the algorithms. It's definitely over a year ago. And it was a small channel and it's slowly growing and growing. And it's just one of us. He's one of us. He's just a everyday guy wanting to start running, and his content's brilliant. And what did it for me is the video in the Gale Force winds we were having. The algorithm spat up a video of this chap running past what looked like a prison wall to me in a pair of working goggles, running full blast into a Gale Force wind. And I thought that was really funny, that. And then I went down the rabbit hole and ended up subscribing. So let us introduce Journey of Lee. Welcome, Lee.
Evening, Freddie, Scott. Good evening. Thank you.
How are you doing,
it's not a prison wall. It weren't a prison wall. I took that short down. I took all my shorts down. I'll get into that. I weren't ashamed of him or anything like that. I just decided just to go with long content. But it were a wall. There were a really nice housing estate, and they wanted to build a massive industrial estate, and that was the deal. They put this wall up, but the wall looks worse than the industrial estate.
Yeah, so, honestly.
They all moan about the wall now, so, it'd have been but yeah, that's I tend to do a lot of my reps and speed work down there, because it's on an industrial estate, nice and private, and you can get away if you want to do a bit of filming. You've not got anybody, though our dog walker does stop me every so often and says, "Are you here again?" And sort of stuff. But, yeah. They sort of know me going down there now, so it's got a bit normal. I might even rename a Strava section down there, Journey Elite sprint session or something. So you can do that. I don't know.
That's the way to do it.
But maybe. How are you guys doing at the minute then?
So yeah, like I said, I've been poorly sick, but nothing too major, just a lurgy. So I've had a week off, and I know we were talking the other day, and you mentioned that,
Beat yourself up a bit by it sounds of it by having a week off as well, but
and you said that you take 1 week off in every 5. Is that right?
yeah. So I were Father Time stand still for nobody. We're all, I'm 40. I think
I'm 45.
Freddie, you're 48. You're
48.
45. Scott. So running's hard anyway. Getting into running is when you start getting to, I'd say when you get to sort of 30 minutes in a 5K, you're starting to take it a bit more serious, aren't you? Once you sort of get to that, and when you sort of break an hour in a 10K, you're starting to, this is better than your average person. So, and at that point, when I started getting to them levels, I thought, well, it's starting to take its toll on me, and I always had a niggle. I were never 100% ever. I always had some sort of niggle, and it was through getting connected with Strava. I joined your group, Freddie, on Strava probably 6 months ago, and I also joined the Lonely Goats group.
Yep.
And ever since there, I've met people from your group, people from your channel, people from Lonely Goats, and then I started meeting people at races, and other people were just reaching out to me, wanting to help me as well, which I were amazed by to start with. I thought it were a bit of a trick. I thought, why do these people want to help? And it's just nice people. You just come across nice people.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. Like, people talk about a running community, and I weren't aware of it. First, I've been running I'm into my 7th year. So for, sort of 5 years of it, I was just running by myself. I was just running up and down. I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just running. And then past 2 years, it sort of got a bit serious. Last 18 months, joined Strava, got on there, and people were just helping me. And I just taking advice from other people. What this one guy does, we've become really, really good friends on Strava, and it's a bit crazy. I speak to him a lot more about running than what I do some of my really close friends, because he's another runner. None of my other friends are runners or anything like that, so we've got quite a lot in common. And he's I think he's a sub 16-minute 5K runner. So wow. I know it's pay. Yeah, so you kind of listen when they're giving you advice. And he's 44, 45, 45-ish, something like that. And he just told me, people, when they're doing marathons and they're training for something, they have a deload week where every so often they'll just have a deload and the intensity will come down. So when you're training, you're always training for something. So get that deload in there. So have a down week. You know your body. I think he does it every 5 or 6 weeks, and it just worked for me. And it was just an age thing. At my age, if I want to mix it up with these 20 and 30-year-olds and you want to get these good times, don't call it a deload. Have a down week. So every 5 weeks, that's what I do. I just shut everything down. And on that 6th week, I'll run whatever I want to run. I might run once, I might run twice, but it has to be a down week. My mileage has to go in half, the intensity has to come down, it has to be completely turned down, and that's what I do. And so far since Thursday, I haven't ran, and I feel amazing. Everything's recharging. I'll probably do a speed session so we're on Monday today. I'll probably do a speed session Wednesday, and I might do an easy run Friday, and then that'll be it. Then I'll have another 5 weeks, and it'll be hard tricks. I'm training like a madman at the minute, honestly, but I love it. I wouldn't change it. But you're going to get injured if you don't do it, and that's what kept happening to me. I kept getting injured all the time. So every 5 weeks now, down week. I'm not going to kill myself if I miss it. It's that fine line between discipline and not sacking a session off, but then I look forward to that down week. I were absolutely craving this down week now because I've been training so hard, and I just knew it were coming. I just thought, I've just got to get these 5 weeks done. Then for me, people just call it a deload. I call it a down week. I'm always training for something. So, sorry, a really long explanation for that, but I wanted to tell you why. And I'd not just made it up; it was given to me, that information, and we call it the secret sauce because not everybody does it. And I'm not getting injured. He's very, 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 very rarely injured, and every 5 weeks, bang. Even if I don't feel like I need it, have it. Do you still look at HRV levels, heart variability?
I do. I never used to. I really started. I've looked at it like on and off over the last couple of years, but I really started it when I started this Manjaro injection.
Yes.
For the weight loss.
Has that changed with the Manjaro?
Oh, yeah. So my heart rate has gone up entirely. First of all, my resting heart rate has gone up probably not huge amounts, but probably like 5 beats a minute.
Can you remember I sent you a comment about that? And when I do a bit of intermittent fasting, and my resting heart rate does go up when I do intermittent. I'm talking like might be a 16 or 18-hour fast. My resting heart rate does go up a bit.
Yep.
And you mentioned with the Mangiano you're not eating, and I said that could be.
Yeah, it could be. And then I also noticed that when I'm doing a heavy session, so if I'm doing like a 5K all-out effort, it's straight up there, and it's up there fast.
Really?
Yeah, to the point where there's not really much room for me to go any harder. It seems to be getting better because I'm getting better at managing my diet now.
Yeah.
And I understand when to add in a little bit of carbohydrate and whatever else, because I might have a hard session tomorrow, so I'll eat that today. And it seems to be helping. I still have days where I get it wrong and it's still really high. But what I did notice that my HRV during the night, it just went straight. It didn't quite hit the red, but it was down in the orange.
Okay.
But now it's right bang in the middle of the green again, where it should be. But it probably took about 5 or 6 weeks for it to sort itself out.
I'd always say listen to it, because that's a really good indicator of your heart.
Yeah.
And your cardio system. You might feel ready to train, but if it's telling you that you're not, listen to it. But one thing that the HRV doesn't take into consideration is how your legs and your body are feeling. If you feel knackered, even if your HRV is saying you're good to go, you've got to listen to your body as well. Like my hamstrings, they've been in bits lately. I've just been speed work after speed work, and that's fine because that's what I've set that goal to do and get it done. But I need the rest. You've got to not. You can't forget how old you are sometimes.
No,
train smart.
Right. So I'm still the newbie when it comes to the running compared to you two. Then, so I don't know what HRV is. Anyone that's listening that doesn't know what it is,
that'll measure it.
So explain though, for non-running people like me, what does it mean? Because there'll be people listening to this going, "What does that mean?"
I know it's basically it's your battery life. So how whether you're good to train or not, it measures the beats in between your heartbeats. I think.
Right. Yeah.
What I know is the higher the number, the good you are to go. So if you're getting a really low score, like after a marathon, it's going to be down at the bottom, you're going to get a really really low score, and you want to wait for it to build back up. I think a good level's like 60 or 70. Like I say, I'm a technophobe as well. I think when you're getting a reading of 60 or 70, you're good to train again. Freddie might correct me. I don't know the exact numbers. I'm not sure.
Do you know? I don't look at the number because I use Garmin. So they do a number, but I don't pay attention to it. It does there's like a hand that goes from you've got red, orange, and then green in the middle, and
that's probably better.
It works really well. And my understanding of it is, and again, I'm going to bastardize this, and it probably makes no sense, but my understanding is, it's like you say, it's the gap between your heartbeat, each heartbeat, and the idea, I believe, is that you don't want that gap to be the same every time.
I think that's right. Yeah.
You want it to be slightly different each time.
According to AI, it's the variation in between heartbeats, and it's a measure of how well your body can adapt to stress and other challenges.
Yeah.
There we go.
I just look at the number. I know 60 or 70, I'm good to train. That's AI told me that. I put in a few bits and bobs, and 60 or 70, I know I'm good to train. I will train if it's a little bit lower, but I'll change the session. It's going to be a zone 1 or a zone 2 or something like that. So, but yeah, I'll look at that. But I wouldn't just train if that's saying good. If your hamstrings feel like they're going to be pulled in half, then you have to listen to you. But train smart. That's the best bit of advice I ever got there.
One thing I will say, it's quite clear that none of us are coaches or doctors.
No, definitely not. Yeah, absolutely. I love learning. I love hearing stuff about it, but you've got to, you've got to do your own research and just out. And but I'm definitely not a coach and definitely not a doctor.
Well, whatever it is you're doing, Lee, it's working, because you've just bashed through. And I don't mean you just snuck through. You properly bashed through a huge barrier. And actually, before you talk about it, I was going to pick Scott up when he first introduced you, where he says he's one of us. I'm like, well, is he? With the barrier that he's just bashed through, he's not like me. That's for sure.
No. If you put a pair of trainers on, we are definitely the same. We've started. We are now. I wouldn't say we're just doing different things, aren't we? You've broke different barriers down that I haven't broken down. So. Yeah. Your endure stuff, that's I've not even been anywhere near that, so we can We're just at different parts, aren't we, on our running journey? That's where we're at.
Tell everybody what you've just. What's the big barrier you've just bashed down?
I think I'm hoping a lot of them know, but yeah, if they don't know, I obliterated the sub 20. It was my biggest dream ever from running. And
well done.
I appreciate it. If I don't do anything else, honestly, again, I'm happy. And that were for me. That were only for me, and it was something that I set out to do a very long. I remember the day I did my first sub 30 on my dinner break at work in April 21, I think it was 2021, because I'd googled what is a good time for a runner, and it said sub 30, and I did it. I beat it, and then I got home and I googled it again, and that were a good time for a person, not a runner. So I was like, I'd trained my arse off to do this. So I said, right, well, what's a good time for a runner? And it said gold standard sort of sub 20, and I was like, there's no way. I run the floor after doing the sub 30. I literally keeled over on the floor, and I was like, there is no way I can knock 10 minutes off that. I were dead. I were finished. And I thought, well, I like this running. I've got the bug. What else am I? Let's just try and do it. Let's just try. And I was like, right, here we go. So that were April 21. So it took me nearly 4 years to do it. I'm not a natural runner at all.
That's what I meant when I said he's one of us. I knew from his previous videos how he started off. He started where we were a couple of years ago. He's just further down the track than us, but yeah, absolutely, that's what I mean by.
I were overweight, I were quite big, so I weighed 14.5 stone. And somebody asked me that recently. They said, that's not that much, but I'm 5'7". I'm like a leprechaun, I'm not... So for 40, that puts me at 11 stone 5. I'm classed as overweight. So for me, I need to be. So I was 3 and a bit stone overweight. So I were very heavy. I couldn't run. Yeah. The first time I strung together a 5K, it was like a 34-minute, and I were running lamppost to lamppost, like we've all spoke about before. And so yeah, for me to do that, it was massive. You know the feeling when you do a sub 30 first time, then to think knock 10 minutes off, you can't. When I did it, I could have cried at Battersea Park when I did it. Honestly, I'm not really an emotional kind of guy, but it got me, honestly. I was like, wow, I can't believe what I've just done.
That was a great video. That was a great video. And we were, I was just wanting, go on. Yes.
Thank you. I knew it were on. At 3K, I knew it was on. And I was just smiling to myself because I just felt good. Yeah. And one at Marshall's knew me as well. Dylan, I think he's on our Strava group as well, actually. Oh, sorry, on your Strava group. I don't know if
ours.
Yeah, sorry. And but this guy out of nowhere came up at 4 kilometers. One of my subscribers running the race with me. He's going, Lee, is it on, buddy? I'm like, yeah, it's on. Let's go. He's going, come on. And I, you know what it's like, the last kilometre in a 5K, you go in and he came up behind me and he literally saved me. And I already had it in the bag, but just to have somebody there for the last kilometre, he comes steaming up and I was like, yes, come on. And it was great. It was amazing. He gave me a pound back. And honestly, like I say, if I don't, I'm chasing sub 19 next and sub 14. If I don't hit him, the pressure's gone. I don't care. I just felt so much pressure. The pressure was horrible.
You just mentioned there, you're going for the sub 19. You're going to train for that?
Yeah. I'm in training for it now. So next, I've got a speed session on Wednesday. I think it's going to be Wednesday. It's my down week, so I'll be a fresh leg. So yeah, we're going to turn it up a notch. It'll be exactly the same at sub 20 training, but we'll just. The reps in 400 were 3-minute 45 per K, so we'll probably keep it at 3-minute 45, but change the rest. I was doing a 70-second rest, so I'll change it to a 60-second rest. But I might do 12 reps. So that's just the structure. You just go with that, and then I might change it to a 3-minute 40 once you can hit them. But they're brutal, but it's addictive. People say it don't get easy. It don't get easy because you keep moving goalposts. You know yourself. Yeah. If someone had said to you, I'll go back and do a sub 30 now, it's easy.
Right. Yeah, that's a normal run now.
As soon as you get sub 30, then what do you want to do?
Yeah. Well,
29, 28. Yeah. Where does it end? You end up in a box.
Mate, where does it end for me? I've got 2 targets that I want to hit, and I have said to myself that I want to give myself till I'm 50. So I've only got a year and a half left. One of those is a 100-miler. And,
what's your biggest distance at minute that you've done?
57.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, we're
going to be. Was that Endure?
Yeah,
24?
Yeah.
How did you feel? How did you feel after that? I mean, I don't mean like happy. I mean, like, what were your body feeling like after that? What were you feeling?
I actually don't think it's as bad as people make it out afterwards. I really don't. I think it's hard at the time, and I think it's probably more of a mental battle at the time because it's laps, and you've got to walk past your bed every couple of hours or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think physically afterwards, I was recovered fairly quickly. I think most of us were.
Lee, I did 52 miles that year, last summer, out of Jewett. Yeah, and in the April of that year, I did the Manchester Marathon. Manchester Marathon took me 4 or 5 days before I was walking straight again. In Jewett, I was at work the next day. I was a little bit sore, but nowhere near the pain I did from the marathon.
Is that because you've got the 24 hours, so you're pacing it? The marathon, you're doing it in one go,
Exactly.
aren't you? So yeah,
you're doing it really slow. I mean, you know, if you're almost at the point, if you're doing 8.5 minute kilometers, then you're going too fast. You know,
right? Yeah.
So
can you walk some of them?
Oh, 100%.
Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
What's your strategy when you're doing that? So when you're thinking, so you say, right, I'm going to do 100k. How do you plan that out? Do you think are there 5 kilometer laps?
Yeah. 8 kilometers.
8 kilometer laps. So what? See, if it were me, I would break that down. I would maybe. I don't know how would you do.
We did it the way we did it. We pretty much stuck to this. We just said one thing really, and that was we do not run up any hill. It can be the smallest of slopes. We do not run up it. We walk all of the hills.
Is that just to come?
Yeah. You gain nothing. You gain nothing, but you lose a lot by walking by running up the hill. And if it's a flat or a down, then we try our best to run it. And that's pretty much. We tried to stick to that as much as we could. There were a few times where I did drop the C-bomb Scott's direction because I didn't want to run down that hill, you know. But
I don't know what I'd do there. I think I would maybe. I don't know if this would work, and I've never done it, and this shows me inexperience. I think I would maybe run a half marathon, then come in, have some sleep, have some food, chill out, and then run another half, and then just keep doing the same. Would that work, or would I die? Do you think I'd?
I don't think you can come away from there without dying. To be fair, you know you're going to die whichever way. The thing that we were doing was every lap, and this was almost religiously. Every lap we would eat, no matter what.
Eating
whatever.
Macaroni,
anything.
Mars bars, full fat Coke. Honestly,
sounds like a party.
Honestly, you'll get it, Lee. You need to try this. I've done a marathon now, and I've done this, and I've said this on a few podcasts. The social scene at Endure, the best way I describe it, and I did this on the vlog. It's like Glastonbury for runners. Everyone's just there to have a good time, and it's a lot more relaxed. And you can eat junk because you're burning it up quicker than you know. It's crazy. I walked around with a boil in the bag macaroni cheese for one lap, eating it out of the bag like an animal.
Yeah. And my other goal, which actually the 100 miles feels a lot closer than my other goal, and that's to do what you've just done, which sounds a bit daft now because I'm currently running a 25.5 minute 5K. I did do a 24:38 last year, but I want to go sub 20.
There's no reason why you can't.
No.
People would laugh at me. I believe that you can do it. Anybody can do it. Well, anybody within reason. You've just got to want to. There's nobody going to do it for you. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. But if you'd have seen me 6 or 7 years ago, and I'm saying I'm going to do a sub 20, people would have said, "No, you won't. It's impossible." You've just got to. Anybody can do it. If you can do a sub 30 and a sub 25, you can do it. You just turn your training up. But you've got to train for it. You can't just do a long run and an easy. You've got to do the reps, the fartleks, that sort of stuff. You've got to be out doing it. But you can definitely do it.
And I think that's going back to the runner app now, using that structure. That's what I've needed. Like I say, I'm already feeling the benefits of it. So we'll see.
Post on Instagram with that, and it gives quite a lot of data where it shows what you've done and map it. Yeah, it looks pretty. It's just having that structure, having a little coach, isn't it? Giving you them workouts and things like that. So if you haven't got that already, I'm quite lucky. I've been sort of tucked under wing really by a couple of good runners, and so I'm quite lucky. I'm feeding off their expertise, what they've been running. These sub 16-minute runners, and it's nice to be involved and being helped by them. So I think I'd be using that sort of stuff, but I've just got this plan down to a T. they're just sort of rooting for me, which is it's pretty cool. They're quite local to me as well, so it's just nice to have that. Really,
That's cool. I'll tell you what I like about it most is every day I can see on my phone what I'm doing, but then it sends it to my watch as well. So when I press go to start my run, it's telling me what to do. If I'm going,
sorry, go on. You're all right.
Yeah, no. If I'm going too slow or too fast during a certain period, it tells me slow down.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
I do like that. What sort of plan have you got? Have you put in, I'm doing a marathon, then it gives you a full 18-week plan or something like that?
Yeah, it's really clever. So they use AI, and just anyone listening to this, right? I'm not sponsored by them. I'm not getting paid. Don't give me a hard time. I just happen to like it. But no, so I said to it, right, I'm doing Manchester Marathon. It already knows when that is. You have to tell it your current, and it's key that you give it your current 5K time, not your PB, but your current time.
Okay. What shape you're in at minute, sort of thing.
And then it plots it all. You say, I can run on this day, I cannot run on that day, and then it plots it all. But what it does, there's a little box on there that says, we will update you soon on to how you're going, right? And then after a couple of weeks, all of a sudden that message said, well done, you're hitting all of your set paces and you're hitting all the targets. If I wasn't, let's say I was going too fast all the time or I'm going too slow all the time, it then adjusts the training program to how you're doing. So if I'm struggling with the paces, if I struggle with it, it reduces everything down, makes it easier, then gives me a new prediction on my marathon time. So it has given me a prediction.
That is brilliant.
Yeah, and we'll see if it works.
Consideration the effort level of the run, looking at your heart rate and saying, if it said to you, go and do 10K moderate, I don't know, and then will it look at your effort and say that weren't actually moderate, it were easy, or you've gone too hard? Does it do anything like that?
I don't actually know that. I'd have to have a look. I don't honestly know. I'll find out.
It does sound pretty good. It does sound pretty good.
Yeah.
How much is it? What do you have to pay for that?
So if you pay monthly, I think it's like £15-16 a month, something like that.
That's not bad for a coach.
No.
That's going to do that sort of stuff for you there.
You can get an annual one where it brings that price down, I think, by a third or something. And for me, I was like, what if I don't like it? But actually, I might just upgrade it and pay for the year because so far.
4-hour marathon on, do you think?
Honestly, not got a clue. It's to me, and I know you put a comment on my run last week, and for me, it's easy to say that's so optimistic, and it is optimistic, right? It is. It's a long way. I'm not currently even running a sub-2 half marathon, so it's hard to do that.
Yeah.
But I have got a half marathon, and this is probably when I'm going to set my target.
What is your PB in half marathon?
2:09.
You're not miles away. No. It's a long time away. So how did you feel after the 2:09 marathon? Were you finished or were there more to come?
I was at that time. I was pretty finished, but I'm also 2 stone lighter than I was.
I was just going to say you're carrying a lot less these days.
Yeah,
load 2 stone, Freddie. 2 stones worth.
Yeah, and I've got a half marathon with Scott actually at the beginning of March, so I'm going to see how that goes. I in Middlesbrough.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm going to see.
Yes.
Yeah.
I nearly did it. I had a free run through, and I went with it's on the 2nd of March, and it's my daughter's birthday, so I went with the one in Leeds instead. That'd have been great.
That would have been good.
I very, very nearly did it. I did some pacing for him, and you get a free credit for doing it. So
that's right.
I'm not used to it yet, so I thought, I'll book an half marathon.
Yeah. So my target there is to I want to beat my PB by 10 minutes.
So get a sub-2.
Yeah, and then if I get a sub-2, then I can set my target for Manchester.
Yeah, you're going to see where you are, aren't you? With that, really, you're going to see where you are. I think everybody wants a sub-4 in a marathon, don't they? Really, as a runner, because that's the sort of. It's the sort of you're ticking it off. You're beating your average guy. It's just a good standard to be at. So
it's your 30-minute 5K, right?
Yeah,
it's the same.
That's what you need to tell yourself.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, if we all go out now and do a 30-minute 5K, and this is no disrespect to anybody that's starting to learn to run or anything like that, when your PB's 24 minutes, what's yours, Scott?
22:20.
So for us to, it's quite easy to think, actually, let's break this marathon down into 5Ks at 30 minutes. Yeah. I've only ever done one marathon, and I didn't do it at a race, I did it in training, and that is the exact strategy I used.
Right.
I did it in 3 hours 56, and I was finished. I'd never been past half marathon, and that's all I did. I just did 30 minutes, 5Ks. But at last 7K, I was nearly dead. I'd run out of water and everything. I was just saying to myself, it's a part running a warm up. It's a part running a warm up. It's a part running a warm up. It taught me a lot of lessons. It taught me.
You filmed
a
that.
lot of...
I watched that. You filmed that, didn't you?
Yeah,
I remember watching that. Yeah.
It was my first ever marathon. I'd never ran past 21 kilometers, and I just thought, and then it worked. So I need to do 5K in 30 minutes, and I need to do 2 sub 2 hour marathons. And I did first one in a 1 hour 56, and I thought I've got it in bag. Yeah. Just a 2 hour marathon, walking part, 30K, bang! I were in trouble. I were in big trouble because I'd never been at that distance. I were like in deep space. It were honestly, it were bad. And I think it were 14K were left. And I had a water pack on because there were no fueling station. I took water pack out with electrolytes, and I had nothing left. No water, no nothing. The last 14K an hour I was saying to myself, I'm never doing a marathon. I'm not a real runner. I don't want to run anymore. I was honestly, it got me, and I were in a dark place doing that thing. Then I had a huge respect for marathon runners after that, and a few people commenting saying, well done. I'm glad you found it difficult because you're looking like it were fairly easy 25K in, and I'm glad you found it hard in a way because it sort of learnt me a lesson, and it humbled me quite a lot because don't mess about it. They are beasts, and I've got massive respect for anyone that does it 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours. I've got huge respect because it's not an easy feat. I might do another solo one actually. Thinking about it,
why not? Get it done.
I don't know, but it's. I don't know if my missus and my kids can put up with me moaning for 2 days after.
On that subject, have you passed any of this knowledge that you've built up onto Lee Jr. to smash a 3K kids park run?
So the kids that I'm running with at the minute are girls. So I've got 3 girls and 1 boy. So my 18-year-old, she's too cool for me.
Mine's
she's
the same.
Too cool. Don't want to know. She's a law student, so she's busy doing that. So I've given her a bit of grace, but she don't want to run, but she wants to use gym. So we're going to make a home gym and get that sort of stuff sorted. So she's in there. But my other 2, an 8-year-old and 12-year-old, they've started running with me, and they're getting fairly good. I took them out on the first long run last week. It were a 3K long run. So part run's 2K. So I said, right, we're not going part run for a few weeks. We're going to do some long runs, and we're going to chuck a hill in. So and they liked it, but I have to, they get a McDonald's breakfast. That's the deal. So you'll always see it on Strava if you ever look. Anytime I've done junior park run, there's a picture of me and kids in McDonald's afterwards. That is the deal. That they will run. Do you know what got me, Scotty? It was you that got me started on this. I watched one of these podcasts about not the McDonald's. I watched one of these podcasts about. I can't remember when it was. It was ages ago, and you said your daughter came up to you and just said, "Oh, can I come for a run with you?" And I was like, "I want some of that." And I said to him, "Do you want to come for a run with your dad?" They're like, "Nah." So I said, "Right." So then, I started to bribe them with McDonald's breakfast.
It never works, man.
We fell into it. They like it now. But my boy is 3 years old, and I take him in the pushchair and I run with him while I'm pacing the other 2 at the park run. And he wants to run, but you've got to be 4. And he's like, "Dad, when can I run?" And he is absolutely dying to run. So I'm hoping. I just said to him, I want you to be good at something, either if you want to play an instrument but because let's run until you find your own passion. You're going to run with me, and I'll fuel you on McDonald's. But I love it. I've passed a few tips, but they've got really good running form naturally, which it took me ages to get good running form, and especially my 8-year-old, a running. I can't even correct her. It's perfect. I don't know if that's just because she's young, but just landing perfectly and everything. So it were a bit odd just to see it. I was a bit jealous. I might have to tie her shoelaces together.
It's funny, and I remember a while back I watched it was a video online, and it was talking about heel striking and forefoot running and midfoot and all of that sort of stuff. And it was a doctor, I think it was, who actually demonstrated or showed a demonstration of the perfect running format. Or form, and they actually got a video of a toddler. Right, it was somebody who was like 2 or 3 years. They were a proper toddler, and this kid was basically running in a nappy, and he ran across. And little kids, when they're little, they just naturally midfoot strike. He said the heel strike. Your shoes are teaching you to do that. And all of this. And they watched this toddler, and I was like, that is it's perfect.
What makes it? My 8-year-old had better running form than my 12-year-old by a mile. I had to correct a few things with her, and then she's got quicker since we've done that. She said, "I don't feel right this to start with." It's like kids, people, the slouch as they get older, and when you sit up straight, it feels natural, and that's what I was doing to her, correcting her. But that is interesting. I love saving stuff about that, like doctors and how stuff works in that, and that is a bit. I wanted to ask you, Stuart, do you ever watch any races or anything on YouTube, like any competitive races?
So
Not tons, but
the Spine, we're watching in and out, watching the Spine race this week. That was live, wasn't it, on Insta?
Oh, yeah.
The WhatsApp group, and Bryn was on the last podcast we did. He's a serious mountain runner, Fiona.
Oh, I've seen that one. There were quite a few of it. Yeah, he's a bit he's mad for it.
Isn't he? Isn't he just?
Yeah.
And Fiona.
All them that you had on were a bit mad. They are.
They'll love that.
Yeah, they're all brilliant, but you know, when we categorise, we're just good at different things. I might be a sub 20, and they're doing 300 miles or whatever. It's a different skill, isn't it? They're just you focus on. But yeah, I tip my hat to them because that's.
Yeah, I think Bryn's part run was it like his part run PBs like 8 hours, 9 hours, something like that. Because it's 20 mile there, 20 mile back, So something ridiculous.
That's crazy.
Crazy. But no, they're a good bunch. We hit lucky. They're all people that we've met mostly because of Endure 24.
Were it?
Yeah, they've all. I think is everyone in that group apart from James who's doing it this year.
Yeah,
everyone else has done it, right? Yeah. So that's how that's
doing gym. I watched it in 2 different gym sessions. I watched first half doing a gym workout, then next day I watched second half doing some stretching and recovering. Nice. I like doing that because I don't watch that much YouTube anymore.
Right.
It's that busy. I only watch it when I'm working out, so I put it on there, and that's what I do when I'm working out now. I just generally watch a YouTube videos.
Yeah. So you mentioned how you've got this a mate who's helping you coach you sort of thing and what have you. What about running clubs? You remember?
Only at Lonely Goats, but it's just not really a running club, is it? That's just an online thing. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. It's just because I've got nothing against running clubs, and I think they're a really, really good thing. And if my life would allow it, I'd consider it. It's just I can't keep to a schedule. So if you look at, I train sometimes at morning, sometimes at night, sometimes afternoon, different days. And running clubs generally have a schedule, don't they? Maybe a bit flexible, but. No, I'm certainly not against them, but I maybe would be a part of one. Maybe if I could do it, or later on when things are a bit more structured, probably I would do. A few people have offered me a couple of track sessions as well, which I'm going to go and do.
Nice,
local to me. Some just people that have watched videos. Someone that works there or trains there quite a lot. They're part of a running club and says, "Look, come down. We'll try and help you with your form a little bit, and try and get you a bit quicker as well." So I'm gonna take them up on there. Maybe I'll make a video. I don't know. I haven't asked them about making a video there yet, but I like to take it serious as well. So it's not. I don't know. It's hard to do YouTube and take it really serious as well. I like to have a bit of a laugh as well, but when you're trying to, the sub 20 meant a lot. So that where I wanted to bring the camera to show people what it takes to do it. That was the whole point. And I've sort of liked making the training videos now. Do you know? Because it's done in training, isn't it? Your results. People think it's done on race day, but that's just. It's like when you're swatting for an exam. You spend all year revising for an exam.
Yeah.
You take the test on that one day, but you've passed that test because of what you've done. So I want people to see the training because it's so easy, isn't it? If somebody say, "Oh yeah, he's done that," but yeah, look what he's out doing.
Yeah.
Christmas Eve, that were a brutal session. I'm just thinking, everybody's at home with the family. Why am I doing this? And why am I doing it? But I knew I had Battersea Park booked. I knew I wanted. I couldn't turn up not in right shape. We're not there, not doing it.
I have to say, some of my favorite YouTube videos or favorite channels that I like to watch are quite a lot of them anyway. Not all of them, but a lot of them are focused around their training. Because I do like to see that part of it. Race videos are great. We all like watching them, especially when things go really well. They're great fun. Yeah. They're all learning videos, right? Yeah. But I really do like to see the grind that's being put in as well.
Absolutely. You can see people's passion for it as well, can't you? In the training videos, you can see, and that's what I like. I like to see. I don't know if you watch. I like watching. I watch yours, Mark Lewis. and Nick Bester. They're about the only ones I watch.
Right.
But Nick Bester, I don't know if you watch him, but he's got a massive passion.
Yeah.
Massive passion for it, and it just shot that. I think, it's people's. It's not necessarily the results that people follow. I like following people's journey and what they're about, and I could relate to yours quite a little bit, and that's what made me start watching yours. And going to a first part run, I didn't dare go to a part run, and I watched yours probably about 18 months ago, something like that. And you were going to part runs, and I was like, yeah, he's going to part runs, and I didn't really want to go. And you give people confidence by you doing it, so it's good that
part run's an absolute blessing. I think it's such a good thing. Anyone that has any doubt about part runs should just go along, because I genuinely, and you see it changes people's lives, because it's such a welcoming community that I love it. And it's free. Yeah.
I hope it always stays free, because it could easily be monetized, and I think it'd ruin it if they did that. There's certain things where you've got to know when to monetize stuff and not, and that's just something that should always be free. And it's all over the world.
Right.
When you go on holiday, you can do a part run.
Yeah.
Oh, did you do it in Orlando?
No, there wasn't any nearby where I was, but I did watch.
There is one in Orlando,
I think it was you that must have told me about that. Somebody mentioned it on my Strava.
We go every other year to Orlando, and I only did my first part run in October 2023. I was really late to game with part runs, and wherever we go now, if we go on holiday or anywhere, part run. But I haven't been to Orlando since I've been doing them. But I'm going to win that part run. I've looked at the times. I could win that part run, but I don't know if the heat's going to do out to me. I don't. How did you find running?
So I was going out at 7 a.m. and it was already hot and clammy, and I was so paranoid about alligators running past, because we were on International Drive, and you're going past these big man-made lakes, but the signs beside the road seem to beware of alligators and stuff.
Snakes.
Yeah, snakes. So I'm running panicking already. My heart's going harder than it should anyway, and I'm just.
I seen a bobcat there,
What, out on International Drive?
Out in the wild.
Wow.
In Orlando.
Oh.
When I were out, we got this villa, and it were like in a gated community, and I were out running, and it was not at a part run. I was just running around gated community, and there were a bobcat outside the gated community.
Yeah, brutal, isn't it?
I dropped a 4-minute kilometre and went back to it. Very hard and easy run. I thought, right, I'd have probably done a sub 20 if it had changed.
So,
but yeah, you've got to watch it. But what a place to run down International Drive. I mean, I know it's not ideal, but you're just in that brilliant surroundings, aren't you? On holiday and getting a workout in on holiday, I think.
I posted something the other day on Instagram, and it was perfectly summed it up. And it was, you want to get fit, exercise. If you want to change your life, become a runner. And that's exactly what I've done. Like, I would never, ever have dreamt of taking a pair of running shoes on holiday, ever, till these last 2 years.
First thing that goes in now,
everywhere I go, I went on a cruise last year. Every port we stopped at in the whole of Europe.
Did you run up? Because some cruise ships have running tracks,
yeah,
don't they?
Yeah. And when you clock it, one lap got me about 9 miles because the ship was out at sea moving, and the GPS did a massive long stretch of a running track. It looked like I'd covered about 8 miles in 8 minutes.
That was quality.
But yeah, like, it's definitely changed my life. I run every time I go on holiday now. It's the first thing I do is pack my trainers and.
I will never stop. Something would have to catastrophically change in my life where I'm unable to run. I will never, ever, ever stop. And people have asked me, do you not get... No, I don't get bored. No. I'm bored of listening to you asking me why I run. Yeah. That's what I'm bored about. No,
do you know, it's going back to something that you said earlier when we first started the podcast, and you talk about how friendly everybody is in the community. And I genuinely believe that if you talk to a lot of people, why do you run? And they say it's for their mental health.
Yeah,
it does make you a better person.
It does, yeah, it does. And it gives you that time with yourself. If you've got problems or things you want to think about, there's your time. You're out on a half marathon or whatever you're doing, you go and sort your stuff out there. And I never run with music ever, and that's... I deal with whatever I've got going on or anything like that. And there's no, with or without music's good, but for me, my preference is absolutely without, and I just deal with stuff, think about stuff, good stuff, bad stuff, ugly stuff, and it does make you a better person, grounds you as well, I think.
We can cross that question off now, Scott.
We've got an agenda. We've got a couple of questions that you'll probably know if you've watched
let me ask you that. Let me elaborate on it very quickly then. So, I did occasionally, but the last time I ran with music was when I did that solo marathon, and can I swear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When shit got real, at 30k, the music came out, and I just grinded through it and got on with it, and I couldn't concentrate with the music in. And since then, I thought it's going to be, it's going to be like a long drive down to the coast. I'll have a bit of music on, and we'll chill out. That's what I thought a marathon were going to be. Oh no,
You're scary.
No.
You're scaring Freddie here, don't?
I had shit to do that day, and
Yeah.
listening to classics from 80s or whatever, because I didn't really have any music list on there. I just had like YouTube on, then it was just playing recommendations, and I was just letting it go through like a bit of a jukebox. And I was listening to like Roxette Joyride or something like that after so long, and I just thought, this is not helping me now. So I didn't really run with it very often anyway. But I thought, no. So now I just, and it was something. Not that you should. It was something David Goggins said once, and he said, you can listen to music in training and all that, but what happens when you're at a race and you can't listen to music? What are you going to do then?
Yeah.
When them demons are coming in, So that I sort of like, you can't take everything David Goggins says. He's like, but with that kind of stuck with me. That and I thought, I'm going to get used to it now without music, because when stuff does get real, it's just me up here. So never ever ever music now. It probably makes me worse with music, I think.
Yeah.
You do what I do.
I think go on.
You do what I do. When I was doing enduro and it was the middle of the night running around that park in the dark, I was just singing out loud to myself. Singing like Creedence Clearwater Revival, Bad Moon Rising.
I was carrying a Bluetooth speaker at one point.
In your back, yes. With Bluetooth the phone to your back.
Maybe on there might be different, because that's, if you say it's a party and you're walking around and it's getting you around, because there is, when I'm training weights, I will listen to music then. And I think, because sometimes they rev you up a little bit, don't they? So maybe it's just that we're running it, we're different. What about you two? Are you generally running? Are you listening to music?
Mine all comes down to what am I doing. If I'm going on a slow long run, I'll probably stick a podcast on, because I want to keep it in zone 2, keep it really slow, and that helps me do that. If I'm doing an all out 5K, I might have Slipknot smashing my ears out. Yeah, but I have started to, on some of my runs now, particularly when I'm doing the efforts of doing, like you just said there, and actually doing it with no music. I've been quite enjoying that.
I'd be a better runner, definitely not doing it. Certainly doing reps and fartleks where I want to concentrate. I've got to the stage now, I know how fast I'm running roughly without looking at my watch. I still always check with my watch, but if I know I need to run a 4-minute K pace or 3:50 pace or 4:30, I sort of know now, and that's just from constant. When I'm running and I'm taking it serious, I just have to take my training serious, and I just crucify myself if I don't hit them goals sometimes, and I shouldn't do, but it's your passion. It's
working.
Yeah.
Well,
clearly
I hope so. Yeah.
I've got a question. But before I ask it, I need to check: is your good lady out of earshot?
Yeah, yeah, I think so. Yeah.
What's an acceptable amount you would spend on a pair of running shoes?
Hang on, let me just check. 300, whatever. If it's good.
And what they're going to be then? Alphas.
Vaporfly 3s all day. Night Vapor. There is, without a shadow of a doubt, the fastest trainer I've ever worn. To be fair, I think I've got 8 trainers in my rotation at minute, and they're all Nike apart from one, and that's Adidas Boston 12s, which are a brilliant shoe, and I use them for the long run.
Mm-hmm. They're my favourite too.
I do use a carbon for the long run. Do you know I spoke about every 5 weeks I have a down week? So when I'm on like week 5, if I'm feeling heavy, I don't class it as cheating. I'll put the carbons on for long run just to help me get it done. I don't want to knacker myself up. So because they just protect you a little bit more. But I only probably train in carbons probably once every 2 weeks, just one session, just because I like them, and that gives you your race speed as well. It shows you, So yeah, but Vaporfly 3s all day long. I generally get them for about 210 though. You get a discount code off Nike or something like that. There's always a special deal going on somewhere. So yeah, and Alpha Flies as well for half and full marathon. But you can wear Vaporfly 3s for 5s, 10s, halves and fulls, and you can use Alphas for 5s, 10s, half and fulls. And then there's Streak Fly. Have you heard of them?
No.
Nike Street Fly. It's like the Vaporfly's baby brother, but they just don't have a carbon plating. They're £100, and they're a
Right.
really fast shoe for training in, really fast. The Nike Street Fly.
Oh.
But I know there's loads of fast shoes out there. You like what you like, don't you? And I'm
Yeah,
not sponsored by Nike or anything, so I'm not saying that.
all mine currently, my whole rotation, which is I think 6 pairs, they're all Adidas, all of them.
What's the fast ones? What's the fast Adidas ones? So are they? There's some new. Are they the Pro 4s or something?
Yeah, the Pro 4. I'm about to splash some cash on them in the next
How
couple of
much are they?
weeks. They're 220, I think 230, 220.
Oh, that, yeah.
Carbon plated.
Yeah.
That's
So,
not bad at all, because
no?
even with a code, or they generally don't go on sale much, super shoes, do they? But
No.
that's not bad at all. If you can get a code and pick them up at 200. Do you know what I do like about the Adidas? They look nice, the Adidas ones. I do think they do some nice colorways. They do some nice colors. Have you still got Boston 12s?
I've got
I've got 2 pairs.
I've got the 11s.
What do you use them for?
I did mine for the
Long
marathon, and
Did you?
Yeah, I did the marathon in them. I loved them.
What about you, Freddie? What do you use yours for?
My 12s are pretty much my everyday shoe. That's my everyday trainer.
That's what mine are. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got the Adios Pro 3 that I've started to do some of my longer, faster stuff.
What are they like?
They're great. They're a great shoe. Yeah, I really like them. I haven't used them masses, but I'm going to start using them now during my marathon training, with a view to buying the 4, and the 4 will be my race shoe.
Yeah, that's. Do you know when you did that rep session other day or other week? What were you wearing then?
My Pro 3s, Adios Pro 3.
And they're just generally your speed work.
Well, kind of, yeah. I think they're really like designed for like half marathons.
Right,
But I would literally use them for that, to see what they're like for that. So I've got a pair of the Adidas Takumi Sen.
Oh, they're a fast shoe, aren't they?
They're a fast shoe. Yeah, they're like a 5K shoe. I use them. I've also got the Primex that I use. I use them on a slow long run.
Yeah.
They're really squidgy, really soft.
Do they still sell the Takumi Sens? Do they still sell them?
Yeah, I think they're on number 10 now.
10s have just come out in the last couple of months.
10 or 11, yeah.
I've got no. You know what you know though, don't you? But that's why I've not sort of swayed away from Nike. The only reason I swayed away to the Bostons is because I were using Nike Invincibles before, and I just didn't get along with them. And you need to have a good daily trainer, and loads of people had recommended 12s. I'd seen you wearing them, Freddie, and I'd seen, I don't know if it was Steve Cummins that might have said something to me about him, and then a few other people had said something on Strava. And he knows a lot about shoes, doesn't he, Steve?
He owns all the shoes. Yeah, he's got them all. He's a
sick guy for shoes. I've asked him a few times on Strava, and he knows what he's on about as well with shoes. So yeah, there's a lot. That's the good. Your Strava group. There's loads of good people on it. There's loads of good people that'll help you. Yeah. Ask questions and they'll answer it. It's good. It's a good group to be a part of.
Yeah, that was an accident, really, that group, but a really nice accident. Yeah, it was one of those, I'll create it, no one's going to use it, and we're at nearly 700 members now, so.
It's great.
Yeah,
it's the people all over it. It's great. Hey, do you know your logo that you've got that you changed? I like it. Really cool, the YouTube one. You've not changed it on Instagram, and I were on Instagram the other day. I was making a reel, and while we're doing that, I thought, I'll have a look at people's stories. And my little boy was sat next to me, and I was just about to click on your story, and he said, "That's Spider-Man." I said, "What are you on about?"
Because I'm jumping.
Yeah, but you're looking red on as well. I said, no. He says, "It's Spider-Man." I said, "No, it's not. It's not. That's Spider-Man." I'm like, "Oh, it's not." But I can't tell you. I just thought, when I speak to him, I'll tell him, "Yeah, it looks like he thought you were Spider-Man." Just because you like that.
Brilliant.
I said
I haven't changed it on there.
I said it looked like Tony Hawk's silhouette doing like a flip from like 2004.
I like the new look on YouTube. It looks good. It looks sleek and just neat.
Yeah, thanks, mate. No, I've been thinking about it because I see some videos and I'm like, oh, I really like their intro. And then, if I'm really honest, and I'm not saying this to bash anybody, but then when you've watched it 5 or 6 times, I'm like, oh, okay, we've seen the intro.
Yeah, I know. I don't do an intro. Sometimes I think, should I do it? Should I don't? I don't know. I'm not really bothered. It's the time to do it. I just like to make the content now and just get on with it. And I think people will watch it. They won't. I'm not a great video editor, and I'm not knocking. I think people that do it are fantastic. I I'm just about the training, the results, and the journey now. And I think people know that if they want massive video editing, there's great people out there. Watch them, But it's the knowledge invested on how to do it and the equipment. And I just think maybe it's a learning curve. I just don't. I haven't got the time to learn that parts of it yet.
No, and you look at some of the cinematography that some of the YouTubers have got in the running sector bit. Some of it's amazing, and you're right. But that's a skill, right? Yeah, you've got to learn that. You're not just getting a GoPro out and pointing it.
Can they go sub 20?
Yeah. Some of them can, to be fair.
All right, damn. I hope you were going to say no, they can't. At least I got that on it. But...
No, some of them can, I'm afraid. But no, you do. That's a skill you got to learn. Sorry.
Do a lot of them pay people to do it?
I don't know. I think some of them must do, but I think it's got to depend on the size of your channel, right? You've got a channel like the size of ours. It's not making enough money to pay for that, and you're going to losing money just to have a nice looking video. Yeah.
No, certainly not in it for money because they didn't know.
And then you could invest in expensive drones as well, and then use them once free.
People do use drones, don't they? But
I've got one, mate. I just never use it.
Oh, right.
Actually, I don't think it's far away. I don't even know where it is, actually. It's around here somewhere.
I didn't know this because I placed the order for it. I got it sorted for him. And he used it in Endure, and the shots were fantastic. And they were like panoramic views from 300 foot up.
I think I can remember it now. I'm sure I've seen an Endure video.
There it is.
Get that.
Yeah.
Are you going to take it this year?
Oh, my wife watches my videos, but she doesn't watch my podcasts. I'm pretty sure she doesn't watch my podcasts. I want to buy the new one. You know, the Neo, the small one that follows you. Yeah.
Oh, it follows you?
Yeah, it follows you. You don't have to use a control. You just send it up in the air and it follows you.
You start running and it tracks you behind you.
Yeah.
That is brilliant. Technology's crazy, isn't it, these days?
And actually, affordable. It's not, some of these drones can be thousands. That new DJI one's 176 quid.
That's cheaper than a pair of super shoes.
Right. There you go. Yeah.
You don't need to tell them it's 176. You could just say 76, couldn't you?
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping, again, she doesn't watch these, so I should be okay. It doesn't look a million miles away from what I've already got. So when I'm like, it's the same one.
Yeah, it's the same one.
I did that on my shoes, Lee. I did that on my shoes. I bought some Boston 12s in black, and they've got like a fruit salad colour on them. And then I bought the Adios Pro 3, same colourway. No idea.
Same shoe.
Yeah, exactly.
I think when you had Marm on, he was saying he had them under bed and all sorts, wasn't he? You know what's speaking him? He's a bloody good runner, isn't he?
Oh, he's a beast. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what? What I don't is when I said people that I watch Marm as well. I shouldn't have left you out. Freddie, Nick, Mark Lewis, Marm. I think that's about it. Russ Cook sometimes, he inspired me. Do you know Hardy Skeezer? That way, I was just so intrigued about somebody mad enough to do that.
Right.
But anyway, Marm, I looked at he's doing a half marathon in 1 hour 20 something, 1 hour 22, 21.
Yeah.
But then I looked at his Strava, and he just seems to do a half marathon every Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy is next level. I'm thinking, how is that possible? So if he went into a proper, if he went into a proper training block and everything and hammered his training, what could that guy do?
Do you know the best bit with him is, well, first of all, I'm really happy for him because his channel is taken off at the moment.
It's brilliant.
He's flown past 5,000 subs already. He's doing really well. But I would say for Marm, over all of that, he's actually just a really nice guy when you get to know him a little bit. And I only know him a little bit. We both communicate with him, Scott and I, and we'll have text messages with him and stuff. And he's just actually a really nice guy.
Yeah, he seems it.
Yeah.
He seems really... Do you know, he reminds me... I've told him before, I've messaged on a few of his videos, and he reminds me of Alan Partridge when he's running sometimes a little bit. It's like Alan Partridge running. Yeah. He's just likeable. I think he's naturally funny, isn't he? He's naturally just funny, and it just helps that he's doing that with a camera. He's doing a 1 hour 22 marathon running with a camera.
Yeah, talking.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that. So I don't really look at everybody's. For some reason, I looked at his Strava and looked at his numbers, and I was like, this guy is. Is he not putting his workouts on Strava or something? He's like, no, he doesn't. That's just what he does. Odd 10K through a week, and then an half marathon on a weekend, and then pulling them times out.
It's I liked his little series he'd been doing recently where he was trying to go around park runs winning. Yeah, brilliant.
That's what I mean about Orlando one. You've missed the trick, Scott. That's a vulnerable park run. That is a vulnerable park run.
This is just more ammunition for the excuse I need to go back. So we want to go back in 2026. So watch this space. Yeah.
The bad thing about Orlando, though, is the food. I mean, the food's great, but oh God, I know.
It's class. It's Scott of 3 years ago would have been in heaven. Honestly,
I know. I'm saying it's like being an ex-alcoholic or something and going in pub, isn't it? And then you're like, because your brain is still a bit. Oh, I could smash a pizza or two in no problem. And you're like, you just it's difficult.
So Lee, the YouTube thing. First of all, I guess what was the idea behind starting that and jumping on YouTube and recording it? But also now that you've kind of found your feet and the direction that you're going, how do you find it with all like the comment section? Do you take a lot from that? Is it fun? Do you get the odd troll? How is it all?
So I started it. It was more of a digital diary, if you like. I wanted to sort of record it so I can look back at it. And I want to do it to show other people this way. I mean, I wanted to learn and I wanted to see the progress. And I thought when I first started it, I'm a bloody good runner, me. And then you start going to races and you realise, actually, there's always somebody faster. So I just wanted to learn them lessons and see how I've developed. And I don't really watch my videos, but I look at the thumbnails and I think, God, how we're doing them times there and there. And I can see it tells a story. And that's what I wanted to do. I just wanted to tell a story about where I've come from and where I never thought I'd be pushing for a 19-minute in a sub 40, never in a million years. And I thought, so yeah, it's to look back and, you know, one day when I can't do this, I'll be able to look back and look at them videos and my kids will look at them and, you know, it's just a digital diary for me. That's all it is. Comments, I really enjoy reading comments. I've had the odd sort of snide comment, but no. If I do, I do. It's like I've heard you say before, Fred. When you're putting it on YouTube, you've got to have a bit of tough skin. So I've not had out that's annoyed me too much. I've had odd comment, but nothing major. Most of them are generally quite supportive, and people enjoy. We have a bit of an exchange at some races and things like that. It's nice. Not nice to be recognised. It's nice to be appreciated. I think when you go to a race, you see somebody and you maybe inspired them, or they've gone and done that race because you've done it before, or you've gone to the same park run. That I like that other people have gone out and gone running because you've done it. That's quite nice. And a lot of people have followed me on Strava, and we have a lot of exchange on Strava. I like seeing their workouts, and I try to be. I don't see them as. Sounds horrible. I don't see them as fans or anything like that. I see them as other runners. When they come onto Strava and they've followed me on Strava, I just see them like a normal person. I even go back. They're probably sick of me sometimes. I ask them about advice. If they're, I'll comment on the workout and stuff like that, and I'll ask them questions. And so yeah, it's all been positive really. I've had an odd thing like some do, but what about you?
I love it. I mean, it might seem a bit counterproductive when I say this, but I'm actually outside of YouTube. I'm actually quite introverted. I'm not one for walking into a room and saying, "Look at me, everybody." I'm not that guy. I'm quite introverted, especially with the work that I do. I travel a lot around this country mostly, and when I'm doing that, I'm by myself. I'm always by myself. So actually, if I'm being really honest with myself, I don't find it that easy to make friends because I'm always by myself or I'm with my family. And I travel a lot and all this, and I don't.
Quite a private person.
Yeah, and I'm not into football or any of that stuff. I don't go to games. I'm not one for going to the pub. I never really have been that guy to go to the pub. So for me, I love it simply because I'm actually over the last 2 years. I mean, Scott's a prime example of this actually. From everybody really that has ever liked, commented, or whatever on my channel. Someone like Scott was a total stranger to me just over a year ago, and now somebody that I consider a really good friend.
It's
and
amazing,
and that's all down to YouTube and running. More importantly, the running side of it, because we Scott saw my channel. We'd arranged a social rundown in Newcastle Quayside. Scott came to it with a couple of other people, and actually, where Scott was a little different to the other people, it was me and Scott that went into the Witherspoons afterwards for a cup of tea together. And that's where Scott came up with the idea to do this podcast.
It's a brilliant idea, honestly. I love it. I think it's nice to have. You've got your channel, you've got the Strava, and then you've got this, and it all just fits nicely. And it's like a nice environment. It's a nice environment.
It's kind of got to the point now where I don't say I can go anywhere and it happens, but I'll go to a park run, and more often than not, there's somebody that I've met before through all of this, and it's just
brilliant.
and it's someone I can just go, oh, there's Michelle, or there's James, or whatever else, and we can go and have a cup of tea together afterwards.
Yeah.
So for me, that's been the massive game changer. Really glad that I did it just for that.
It's the support network. Some people, I get a lot of people sort of in the comments sort of cheering you on, just I really want you to do it. Well done. And I think that's nice. I never thought that side of it had ever come into it, but that's nice to be. Yeah. People appreciate you making the video. You're taking the video along. They appreciate. It takes time to do it. It's not easy as well to do it, and people tend to like that because you're showing them all different parts and country and different races, and people generally like that. And I think that's what I've taken from it a lot.
Scott, you had it recently, didn't you? Scott, you had it recently when you were, was it a park run or something?
I was just going to say, for the first time ever, I went to, it was New Year's Day. I did Wynyard Woodland Park Run, which is my local one. I do it pretty much every Saturday.
Yeah.
And
I've seen it on Strava a lot.
It's literally an out and back. It's an old railway line through the woods, but it's trail.
Is it quick?
It's trail, so you're not.
Right.
But it's nice, pretty. And I got out of the car and I was walking to the start, and there was a couple as a husband and wife looking at me a bit strange, and I thought, is there something on my face? Or I got the t-shirt on back to front. Thought nothing of it, and I went off, and I was coming back through the woods, and I seen the lady walking back towards the finish line, and she shouted as I ran past, "Go on, Scott, well done." And I thought, who is that? Kept going, got to the finish, and then I'm stood on the platform watching the runners come in, and I'm applauding. So I always wait till everyone's in, just because I was in their shoes once. And
that's brilliant to do that. That's good that you do that. It's sometimes we're too quick to forget that. And it's
I mean, some people might be in a hurry, but there's those guys who do the sub-17s and the finish, and they're off. You don't even see, you just pass them on the way out, and you never see them. But I've always thought it's nice to support the ones who are.
It is, mate. It is, yeah. It's nice touch.
So the guy came through, and then I'm stood cheering everybody else. And I was stood with Lewis, Freddie, one of our other group members, and I was chatting to Lewis. And I turned, and they were stood beside me, and they went, "Is it Scott?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they went, "Oh, we follow the channel of the RCC and on Strava. Nice to see you." And I was like, "That's brilliant." That I said, and the guy was over the moon. I wish I'd have remembered his name, but he got a PB that day as well. And he was over the moon. He showed us his PB on his phone.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. Stuff like that's nice. It's quality.
First time it's ever happened, but I enjoyed it.
You want a little bit when he shouted you as well, I bet, doesn't it? It gives you that little bit of a push as well, and it's nice. Like I said, we're at Battersea when I were on my knees at 4th K, and that kid just came running up, going, "Hello, buddy, you all right, Lee?" And it makes them. You'll have had it, Freddie, and a few times. It makes a difference, doesn't it? It makes a difference sometimes.
Yeah, and it shows the reach as well that a little channel like ours can have. You were down in Battersea. That's not on your doorstep.
No, I know, it was crazy. I had one at Marshall shouted it as well. 3rd kilometre, Marshall went, "Go on, Lee," and I was like, "Yes."
Yeah, and that's the bit I love the most. Is like both of you there just talked about someone else, and it weren't necessarily about being recognised, but it was about the support they were giving you.
Yeah. I'd like. I'm not in it for that. I'm not bothered about it. No. It's not. That's not. I'm not bothered about that at all. It's just I'm just a runner. I want to get on with it, doing the grind, getting the good times. Unfortunately, as your channel grows, you are going to get. If I get recognised at a race, that's perfectly fine. But I wouldn't want it when I'm out and about. Do you know what I mean? When if you're out shopping or whatever, if it happens, it happens. You just be polite and you just get on with it. But yeah, I'm not. Some people crave that, and that's not. There's somebody recently I heard, "What do you want to do when you're?" "Oh, I want to do YouTube." I'm like, "What do you mean you want to do YouTube?"
This is a common response now for kids. Yeah.
But what is it you want? "I just want to do YouTube." Yeah. It's like, no, you don't just do YouTube. You find a passion and you you project your passion. I didn't say all this, but this is what my brain was saying. It's not if you're going in with the mindset I want to do YouTube, it's not going to work.
Well, here's the thing, right? And I'm not countering what you said. But here's the thing. For somebody like me, I work for an AI company, right? And if we look at what AI is doing today, the last 12 months in AI has been a massive game changer. It's huge. I mean, if you look at things like ChatGPT and Grok and all these other ones, there's so many of them now. It's the last 12 months has been huge. And ultimately, we can see that in the future, and I apologize if this bores anybody, but you can now look into the future slightly and say, okay, what's people's biggest fear right now? And it's actually, for a lot of people, it's just going to take my job. It's just going to take my work away from me. And the truth is, and it's a hard, horrible truth, but the truth is, for a lot of people, it is. It is going to take jobs away, but it's going to create other things, and some of those other things are creativity, and some of those things will be things like YouTube, where actually people are going to have more time, and this is one of the, I guess, long-term aims is people are going to have less work to do because automation is going to help them do it, which means they're going to have more time on their hands, which means they're going to be able to consume more video, artwork, music. It can all be, there's going to be more of it that needs consuming. Well, if you need to consume it, more needs to be made.
That's a brilliant explanation. I'd never even thought about it from that angle until you've sort of explained that. So yeah, what I was sort of referencing when I was saying people, I want to do YouTube, I think they just mean they stick a camera in front of it and they just talk absolute rubbish into it and bring no value to it. Yeah. What you're saying there is people will be creating value. Yeah, there'll be more jobs in YouTube, but the content's still got to be valuable. But I think you've got to have a passion. Yeah. I think your passion carries your channel. I think I could. That's why I've followed your channel. Yeah, I could see something that I could relate to, and I could see a passion. Yeah. So I think it's like when you believe in somebody, you're going to want to watch it. You're going to want to follow it. When you can see they're passionate about it, the love for it, and things like that, and that's what gets me.
I'm a big fan, and we spoke about him a number of times on this channel. I'm a big fan of It's on Andy. Andy Maguire with his channel. Oh yeah, I really like him. And actually, the last few months for him, he's taken a bit of a break at the moment. But the last few months for him, he's been on fire. He's hit his training. He's hit his goals. He's got new PBs left, right, and centre. But you go back 6 months, you could see where he started to do that work, and then he kept doing it, and he kept grinding and grinding and grinding. Then the last sort of 2 or 3 months of 2024, it's like you've got how many PBs, and he went sub 20 for the first time recently, and all of this, and that's what I love. It's you saw the grind, and then you saw the result at the end of it. And you know what? He was potentially one injury away from none of that happening.
Yeah.
But it all just lined up for him, and he smashed it. I think he's late 30s. I think.
Is what getting a sub 20 or like you speak that intensity of training. You it's fine. I've had niggles for ages, and it's going to happen if you've just got to find that balance. Have any of you had a big injury?
No, I've had calf niggles and calf tear, but nothing serious.
How long were we out for with that?
Maybe 6 weeks.
But you, Scott?
Just when I ramped the training up for the marathon, I had IT band issues, but I trained through it. I had a week off, maybe 2, but I seen a physio and followed like religiously the program he gave me to come back from it. And to be fair, it was nothing. And I made a note to ask you about this because your stress fracture you had put you out, didn't it? For a significant amount of time. And I was going to ask you, how did you cope? I know you vlogged some of it, and you did look like a man that was on the edge because you were busting to run, but how did you cope with it day to day?
It would diabolical. It was diabolical, honestly. I did a bit of cycling, hated it. I went swimming and swam a mile. I was bored out of my brains. I was swimming with the 60-year-old women just up and down. I was just trying to crack really bad dad jokes all the way up and down. I was trying to push, and they were taking it easy, and I was just about keeping up with him. I was getting mullered by 60-year-old women doing lengths. And I did. It were okay. I could see light end at tunnel, but I knackered it up. Me said at 9 weeks, I thought I was good to go, and I went out, did an easy run, and I were okay. Then I turned pace up, and I just knackered its end back up again, and I was like, oh, what? I did, how long do I leave it now? And then I just hung my trainers up for 2 weeks, and then went back out, easy, we're all right, and you just have to keep. And then it got to 40 weeks, and I just thought, I'm turning it up. It's now on ever, and we were all good. But the only positive I've got from that, I know my body a whole lot. That won't ever happen ever again. It will never happen ever again. And it was my fault, overtraining, overworking it. I'd gone ill prepared to. I'd gone to a 10-mile forest race, so a 16k forest race, and a lot of it was downhill. And I didn't really know what I was doing. I'm not a trail runner. I just thought I just rocked up, did it, and on the downhill bits, I was sort of braking and slowing myself down. It's like the worst thing you can do, just trying to stop yourself all the time. And I weren't carrying speed. That was just the icing on cake, and I'd been overtraining. I was just running like a madman, and I didn't no real structure to it, and I just knackered myself up. But I've now found where my limits are. I was trying to build speed and mileage at the same time. Just immature with running, really. I was just trying to... Not my intentions were good, but I didn't have that structure. I didn't like you've got that runner app, and I weren't getting any like proper help or anything like that. So I thought I would do it right thing, but I've just learned hard way with it. But that'll never ever happen again. My only goal for this year is to be injury free. If I speak to you guys on 1st of January next year and I haven't got any PBs, but I've not had an injury, honestly, I'm being genuine. That's the one that I'll take.
I'm starting to think you've got access to our agenda.
Yeah.
You keep...
I didn't email you this time by accident.
So, Lee, what's your target for this year?
In terms of PB, I want to be injury free. Honestly, I'm just training smart. Like I said about Father Time, thinking about that. Age, I do think age is a number. It's about effort, but you have to be sensible with your age, and you have to consider it all. Don't get injured. Target for this year is a sub-19 is definitely coming. I think I'm in 1930 shape at minute anyway. I think I can do a 1930 at minute if everything's all boxes are ticking. So definitely get the 19 done. So I want to be in 18 minutes on 10k. But if I'm honest, I don't think I'll get a sub 40 this year. But that is the target. I want to be very, very close to it. So sub 41. I'd like to be sub 41. I want to get a decent marathon time. I haven't booked a marathon yet. I will start doing some marathon training probably in middle of the year. I think Yorkshire Marathon is about September, October, so I'll probably start training for that in June. I've never done a race marathon. I've never trained for a marathon, so I'd like to get a 3:30 marathon. I think that's doable. I did a 3:56 with no training. ChatGPT, I use it quite a lot. That I've put all my PBs in, and it's telling me I'm good for a 3:20, 3:25. I think it's I don't know what it's been drinking, but I think if I can get a 3:30, I'll be happy with that. So a sub 40 ideally in a 3:30 marathon. That's but there's no pressure. If I don't get them, I'll be training hard. I'll be taking it serious. But I just want to be injury free.
What about at the other end of the scale? What about slowing it down and venturing into that ultra world? Does that interest you at all?
It does interest me, yeah. It does interest me, but I think is there a ballot for Endure 24 now?
There is kind of there is, yeah, for a normal place, and it sold out very quickly. There was 2 rounds. They've sold out now, I think, officially. There are other ways of getting in though, like via a charity place. I think you have to raise around £300.
People aren't going to sponsor me to run. I run anyway. That's what they'll say to me.
You'll be surprised, mate. You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. But no, there are other ways of getting in there to do it. I would say to you, actually, I'll put the invite out there now. If it's maybe not for this year, but you're not a million miles away from where it's held in Leeds.
Yeah, so Leeds, yeah.
So, mate, I'll put the invite out there now. If you want to come this year to spectate for a little bit, let us know. You can crash where we are. Come and have a watch.
I'll be jumping off at fence with my vapor flies on, Freddie. I'll be let me in. Do you know what? I'm going to have to do an ultra, aren't I? You know, you have to do it. You have to scratch that itch. So, yeah, it's definitely. Yeah. I'm just sort of moving through ranks. I want to try and conquer. But yeah, there's a few 50Kers about. Is that an ultra 50K?
Yeah. Anything over a marathon.
Anything over America. So 43k. That's
It's an ultra.
No, there's a few 50k races that I've sort of thought maybe. Do you know what? If I can do Leeds next year, I'd do it. It's I only tend to book things 2 or 3 months in advance, and you can't really do that with some of these big events, can you? You know, marathons and maybe an ultra. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'd be able to do 100k though. I think that's what I'd want to do, and I don't know if I could do it.
Only one way to find out.
2026. Yeah. 2026.
Drug dealers, aren't you? And you know, and stuff like that. You should be have a link for Endure you two, honestly.
Well, we should.
So apart from Endure 24, what is your bucket list race then? So if your money was no option, you could travel anywhere on the planet and you could do a race this year as the one that you've always thought. One
I
day.
like the idea at New York Marathon. I think the New York Marathon that'd be the one. I know a lot of people say London and things like that, and I think it'd probably be the New York one. I'd love to do if I were gonna if I could do a marathon and book one right now and get in definitely, it'd be New York one. Yeah, I'd like to do New York just because I'd take the family, we'd have a nice holiday, kids would be there, missus would be there. It'd just be nice. Watch the dad rip it up, and we'll try and rip it up anyway. We'll see, but yeah, I'd like to do New York Marathon. That'd be a good one.
Cool. That would be cool.
Steve did Chicago, didn't he, this year? Oh, it's just not this year anymore. Last year, Steve Cummins.
Last year, He's training for Boston now. I see it on his Strava quite a bit. I'm sure.
I think he mentioned last time I seen him was. God, I don't know. They're all blurring into one. But last time I seen him at one of the runs we did, he was mentioning Boston.
I don't when I'm not training, I try not to go on Strava as much because then I get the itch to go out. Do you know, when I'm on a down week, if I see everybody going out and I'm like, oh, God, I could have done that.
I've not been on for a week through jealousy. I daren't go on because I know I'm going to annoy myself.
Sure,
you would have been jealous with the run I did yesterday, Scott. It was
it good?
Such good fun. Yeah, so I went with that Heart and Soul Racing guys. Lee, I don't know if you're aware of them. They're called Heart and Soul Racing. They're effectively quite a new events team. They're going to host a few events later this year, but also in the build-up, they've started doing monthly social runs, and it's free.
Local to where you live? Is it a local running company?
Yeah. They literally are based 6 miles away from where I live. But they're going to do social runs now, which are free to attend. You have to register because they try and limit the numbers for health and safety. But yeah, and they just take you out on the trails. It's all trail running. And they took me out they took a group of us yesterday out on a trail up in Thronton Woods in Northumberland. An absolutely beautiful place. But of course, you start in a car park and they say, right, the first basically kilometre is going up that hill. So it's 200 meters up for about a kilometre. Here we go, and literally on the first K, you're blowing. But when you get up to the top, you're like, this was so worth it. It was such a nice route. Really good fun.
I'm a big fan of hills. Honestly, hills. I have to train them, but
no, I'm not a fan either. I'm too heavy for hills. But what's really exciting for me personally, and this is me being a bit selfish, is they are going to hold a running festival in August this year.
Oh yeah.
And this festival is going to have like yoga and all different food stalls. There's stuff for the kids to do, and there's all sorts going on. But also a running event as well.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a bit like the Endure 24 thing where they're going to do a loop. But the difference here being the loop's only 4 kilometres. So the idea being wherever you are on the route, you're not actually that far away from the party that's in the middle, which is both a punishment and a good thing. You know,
I was going to say that,
and also you can do it, and this is the bit that I'm quite interested in looking at, Scott. Scott, I'm interested in this, Scott.
Yeah.
We need to look at
it.
Doing
Usually
this,
means
Scott.
What trainers do I need to buy now?
So they are doing like Endure. You know how you can go in as a team. Well, you can go in you can enter it as a team, but your teammates are allowed to run together.
Oh, okay.
So in Endure, if you're in a team, only one of you can run at a time.
It's more of a relay than in Endure.
So, but this one is if say me and you are in a team, or the three of us are in a team, if we all run around together, one lap actually counts as 3 laps.
Oh, nice.
And it's
that's crazy.
So the team with the most amount of laps, I guess, would win, which I thought was quite a cool idea.
Yeah.
How long is it on for?
It's a
How long is
24
the
hour.
event on for? 24. When is that?
In August. Yeah, I'll send you a link to it so you can have a look. It's not actually open for registration yet. They're hoping to open it soon. So I don't know what costs are or anything like that.
August going to be nice and warm.
Yeah, I fancy that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what? Maybe that sounds.
Well, if you go on my Strava on Saturday just gone, I did a park run at Druridge Bay, and that's where.
After you put it on Instagram, I think I've seen it on Instagram.
Right. Well, that's where this event's going to be
Right.
up there. So a nice spot.
4 kilometre loops.
Yeah.
What would your target be for that? Would you still be? Do you do it in miles or kilometres? What do you when you're saying it?
If I'm doing something like that, I run in kilometres, but I'd say my target's in miles.
So what would your target be for that?
I don't know because it's only like a month after Endure 24.
You're just going to got your body back to normal, aren't you? Then you're going to go and do it again.
That's the thing.
Ultra runners are crazy.
Yeah, that's the thing. It is quite close to Endure 24. But is that stupidity or does that just add to the challenge? I don't know.
Yeah, both. Yeah. Well, that's both. But why not?
Yeah, exactly. But I really look at this new one, and I don't know enough about it yet to actually say this. But for me, it feels more of a party. Go with your mates, just to do it for a laugh. And guys, if we run 50 laps and we do whatever, or 50 laps, 50k, or whatever we do, it is what it is. Just go out and have some fun.
But I think my competitiveness in my brain would be like, no. We've come here to do 100k. We're doing 100k.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That'd happen.
Yeah.
That would happen. It's like you know what it's like. You know what it's like.
Yeah.
You get the deep quitting. We've come here to do this. You can eat your pizza in a bit. Let's get this.
Right.
But
it sounds like it's going to be good fun.
I'd only ever run roads until Endure, and I can see me in Lee now until he gets a taste of a proper ultra on the trails and the hills. It'll change your life.
I can imagine it will do. I'm saying it now, and then it'll humble me. I'll be on second lap, right? We're getting a pizza.
Yeah, you'll start wearing tie-dye and sandals, and you'll just be a lot more chilled out in general.
Will there still alcohol there?
Yeah.
Will it, oh, what a disaster.
There's a massive teepee at Endure that sells craft beers all night long, and you have to run past it at the start and finish of the corner.
I get a craving for beer sometimes after a big run. I don't know why. My mum's a runner as well, and she said she used to get that after a marathon. Right. She used to crave a beer, and I don't know what it is.
The funniest thing at Endure is especially the guys that are in teams that actually the following day they might only run 2 or 3 laps each, over a 24-hour period. So on the Friday night they're all getting absolutely shit-faced in the bar.
Yeah. I have seen a video at like a party tent or something that they have there.
Massive teepee.
Race. Uh-huh. You imagine that, a London Marathon. It's okay, bad. He's laying up bar doing body shots out of his belly button, and everybody's.
The thing is, you say that, honestly, it was banging. The place was banging till gone midnight, I think.
It looked like a rave.
Yeah. Totally is.
Yeah, it looked a cool. It did. I will do something like that at some point. It is definitely. I do want to do it, but there's other things that I think, let me get these things off. But in August, if there's availability there, I'll definitely look at it. August is a long way away, and I think, I wouldn't mind doing something like that. Do you get a medal? I like a medal. I do like a thing. Yeah, I love it. So. Are you a t-shirt or medal guys?
Medal for me.
T-shirt for me.
I haven't got many t-shirts. I only get the t-shirts when they're free. I'm a medal guy, bit of bling. Walk around house like Mr. T sometimes. Like, look at your dad. Look at your dad. Get traded. Look at your dad.
So pre-race superstitions, Lee. Have you got any of those?
Banana. Always have a banana. Without a shadow of a doubt. No, half a bottle of Lucozade. Not the like syrupy one, the Lucozade Sport one. I don't know why. I've always done it. I've always cracked a PB out with it. Always have a banana. Always have a Lucozade.
Right.
And,
I know you don't follow. I know you don't follow football, Freddie. But there's you must have heard of Jamie Vardy, have you?
Just say Freddie.
Right.
Yeah, Freddie.
I think his wife's more famous than he is because she had a bit of a run-in with Wayne Rooney's wife. Yeah. But I mean, speaking of superstitions, he's probably heading 35 now, which is old for a footballer, especially in the Premier League. And
about Ronaldo, 39.
Yeah, he's still ripping up. He's a Lauren to himself.
Different breed, isn't it?
Jamie Vardy, though, superstitions, he still sits on the bench before kickoff and has a can of Red Bull. Like,
Right.
honestly, it's a Premiership footballer. He's an athlete who trains 6 days a week.
That's the worst thing you could probably have. For
gross, isn't it? I hate the stuff.
Do you guys drink? I see people having pre-workout and energy drinks before a run. I think there's probably the worst thing you could put in your body. I don't
really dabble with that. I'm not serious enough to need that.
It hinders you. I've tried some of the like energy gels. What you have? Not the energy gels, like the pre-work, like it rev you up a little bit, and it just made me feel like crap.
Yeah, I've not. I have tried it. I tried some. It's a pre-workout powder. I think if I go to my cupboard, it's probably in the back of it somewhere.
You don't need it.
No, I tried it for a couple of gym workouts and stuff, and I was like, first of all, it tasted bloody awful.
Yeah, it will do. It's just sugar. It's just, the only reason I have the Lucozade as well, it's because it's got the electrolytes in as well, so you just have a little bit of that. If I'm on a half marathon, I wear a hydration. I still wear a hydration pack, and people ask me about why do I do that, and I think because there's no electrolytes halfway around, and do you guys drink electrolytes on a long run?
I do. But I more so I take electrolyte tablets where you just swallow the tablet.
Yeah.
I take those more.
But when you're on a race, nobody's handing them out. You're getting cups of water. That's it. So you either take your tablets or your hydration pack. It doesn't really. Denny, you run with your hydration pack.
I do. Yeah, bladder on me longer runs. Yeah,
long runs. Yeah.
I do, and I just think it's just you've got to make yourself comfortable. It probably looks uncool to people. I don't wear the vests and all that. You see some of them in the vest, don't they, and all that. And them that are doing 32-minute. I don't care if I'm comfortable wearing an hydration pack. I'm wearing one. For a 10, I don't. To 5 or 10, I don't. But an half and upwards or a 10 miler upwards, it's going on and nice bit of fluid in there. The gel? I've never had the gels though. I've seen them. Do you just prefer to have them rather than drinking? Do you not like the taste of electrolytes?
No, I don't mind it. I find because I take a single electrolyte tablet every day at home. I pop that. I pop one of them every day and drink water with that.
Yeah.
I've done that for maybe 6 months or so now, maybe more.
Oh, your levels up. So you're happy.
Yeah. So I find now, like when it's time for a slow long run on a Sunday, I'm ready to go. I've got my levels are always topped up, so I quite enjoy it. I do carry gels on my long run, but I use Scott. I've shown you these to you before. I try and use the SIS Beta Fuel, where they're a bit of a more firm jelly that you have to actually chew it.
I know exactly what you mean. They do just the gels, and they do the Better Fuel ones. The New Tropics ones. Have you seen them ones? Mm-hmm. SIS New Tropics. Now they've got a bit of a kick in them ones. They've got caffeine in, that's what you want when you hit that wall at marathon, or that's what you want for you'd want one of them there. But there's so much good stuff. It's just, I don't like all the high sugar stuff. That's the only thing I'm trying to. When you diet, when you've been overweight, you know what sugar does and things like that. I've got a question as well about your Mangiano, if you don't mind me. I know, if we can ask a few. So my cousin went and had the operation done, where he had some of his stomach removed, and went through. He was in a position where I need to go and get this done. I've tried to lose weight. He can maintain his weight. He's tried to do it. He's been and had it done, and it's all going all right.
Good.
And then this Mangiano came out, and he was asking a lot of questions. So I'm quite intrigued by your journey doing it. And the one question that I see a lot of people asking is, when you come off of it, do you think you'll be okay? Now, before you answer, I think from watching your other videos and looking, I think you'll be fine. And the reason I'll tell you why I think you'll be fine is because you said you did it because you had been running X amount of years and you'd only lost half a stone. Yep. But what that tells me as well is you've not put any weight on whatsoever. So whatever you're putting into your body now, sometimes you might eat a bit of crap, but most of the time you must be having a good diet or fairly good, because you're not putting any weight. You're able to maintain your weight.
Sure.
Before you was on the Mangiano, you were able to maintain it. So when you come off of it, you must think that's a positive for you, because I think a lot of people will struggle. But because you're training, you're exercising, and you're not putting on any weight whatsoever, you'll probably be able to maintain your weight when you come off of it. Do you agree with that? Do you think you'll?
I hope so, but I think first of all, the truth is I don't know. I really don't. And I have actually spoke to a doctor about this, because that's my fear, right? Is I spend all this money, all this time, I get to my target weight, I'm really happy, I come off it, and then an accident happens, 6 months go by, and shit, I'm back to where I was.
Yeah.
That can happen, right? And that's just the truth. That can happen.
Yeah.
And for some people it does. I hope to God that it doesn't. There's a few options and a few scenarios that could happen. One of those is if I get my diet right now. And some people will say this is woo-woo what I'm about to say now, but I don't care. I believe it. And I think that your gut has got a lot to do with this. I think there's a lot of living organisms in your gut that can make your mind do stupid things. And I think that currently my gut is in a bad way because of years of abuse and doing the wrong thing and eating the wrong stuff. That I've got all the microbiomes are all not how they should be, and the right types, or whatever you want to call it. And that is what makes my brain say, go and eat some crap, go and binge eat for 10 minutes and and whatever else.
There's a lot of truth to that, Freddie. Have you heard of Zoe?
No.
Google it. It's a doctor that invented a product called Zoe, and it's about gut microbes.
Right.
I'll not go on about it anymore, but what you've said there, this is a doctor who's invented it, and he's talking all about that. Everything you've just said comes from there.
So I'm hoping in the next however long, let's call it 6 months or whatever it's going to look like, that gives me time to retrain my gut. Yeah. And try and get everything right in there. Then in the ideal world, I come off Manjaro, my gut's fixed, and everything's just as it should be, right? That's the dream. Is that likely to happen? I have no idea, is the truth. I hope it does, but we'll see. Plan B is I stay on a maintenance dose of Manjaro so it can continue to help me. Is that ideal? No, it's not, but if I have to, I'll live with it.
It's better than the other consequences, though, as you spoke about, as you get older and heart disease and things like what. Yeah. If I'm honest, I'd have probably done the same as what you'd done. If I'd have tried all that time, I would, for reference, I'd have done the same because time ticks on and you get over 50, and if you're still overweight and there's other things.
Yeah. And that's not far away from me.
No, I know.
No, it's not far away from me.
Positive that you've not put any weight on, so you must have a decent level of willpower because your training's you're training, and the fact that you're not putting any extra weight on shows you that you are doing a good job because you're maintaining. So you are doing a good job.
The problem with it is I might be doing a decent job of maintaining, but what people wouldn't have realised is for that 2 years of trying to lose weight and only losing half a stone, I really tried my best to lose weight. I wasn't trying to maintain or anything like that. I was trying to lose weight for 2 years, and I was just not good at it. And that's why I got to the point. I got a year in, more or less a year in, and was like, this ain't working. Heard about, it wasn't Manjaro at the time, it was Ozempic. Heard about Ozempic and spent the next year thinking at one point, oh, you can't do that, that's failing. Don't do that. That's you failing if you do that. And it took me a year of looking into it. Then I heard about the Wegovy had come into it. So you go from Ozempic, then Wegovy, and then Manjaro came along. And Manjaro has, where the other two are, again, don't correct me, people. I know I'm not a scientist, but essentially, Ozempic and Wegovy have one of the ingredients that you need. Manjaro has two, so it's like the other two on steroids. It does that bit more. So I was like, okay, looked into that one, and did feel a bit of a failure doing it and saying out loud that I'm going to do weight loss injections. But then I thought to myself, well, if you think that's failing, then fuck off, because it's not, and it's really not. It's actually, for me, I should celebrate it because I'm now able to achieve what I've been trying to do for donkeys. If you go out tomorrow and have a couple of beers and you wake up the next day, you wake up with a headache, you don't have to soldier through it. You can take a couple of paracetamol if you want to.
I'm just going to say it, yeah. You know? You can. Imagine taking it. What are you doing that for? You're cheating.
Right.
Right. Yeah. No, I can't. No. It's like, get me a fire up and some paracetamol.
It's like someone says, "Oh, I've got lung cancer." Oh, just work it out. Come on, work harder. Or get treatment.
Yeah, do you know what? That's a really good way of putting it, isn't it? When you think about that, yeah.
Because here's the other thing: if you go to the other end of the scale, people that are overweight get vilified for it, and they're told they're lazy, they eat too much. People that are anorexic get a lot of sympathy, and they deserve a lot of sympathy, right?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Because it's a mental health condition. It's exactly the same thing, just with a different result.
Yeah, it is. It's everybody's different. Everybody's body is different. One thing that people can't say is that you didn't try.
No, and it's all on video to prove it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For me, I would have tried. Look, whether I got a bit lucky, I don't know. I don't think I'm any better. Everybody's body's different.
Of course.
If I'd have not done it, I'd have done what you're doing. Definitely. Right. Because the other side of it, diabetes, heart disease, etc., whatever, all strokes. Do you want that, or do you want a shot of Mangiano? Give me the Mangiano. That's what I'm saying.
I have the ability, right? And I'm not no virtuoso, I'm not amazing or anything like that. But I do have the ability. If somebody gives me a musical instrument, I can normally figure out how to play something on it, right? I play the drums, I play the guitar, and I can tend to do that. It's the equivalent to me saying, "What do you mean you can't play guitar? Just pick it up and strum it." You know what I mean? It's not that easy for It's exactly the same for me.
It's a good analogy. Yeah, I like the when you explained about the cancer. If somebody has that, well, would you take treatment? Yeah, it's same. Like you say, it is a bit of a disease or an illness. And if you're really struggling, get the treatment. Get on with your life then, because in a year's time or less, then you'll be able to look back. You'll be ripping your sub 20 up, and you'll be like, "There you go, boom, done."
Yeah, we won't say the name because I don't know that we're allowed to. But Scott and I both know one or two people that have either used or about to use Manjaro, and for them they saw similar results or going to see similar results. And one of them, I would say, who is about to start it, you can tell that he's probably a little bit down at the moment from not getting the results that he wants to. Yeah, and if this helps him achieve that, why would you not?
Yeah. You're always going to get doubters about Is it the ideal way? No, but it's a way if you can't do it. So people are too quick to judge a lot of the time, and that's until you've been in somebody else's shoes. It's terrible. Just keep your mouth shut and let somebody just get on with it, and at least give them a pound back. But like I said to you before, you'll never meet a hater doing better than you, and that is true with everything. That you'll never meet somebody hating on you that's doing better than you.
Exactly right.
Never happen.
Exactly right. You got me fired up there, Lee.
I'm aware that time's ticking here, Freddie. We've got a few questions left. So do you want to take one? And
do you want a quick fire a minute? Sorry, I do talk a lot.
No, it's us. I jotted these down.
That's what we want
over the last few days because I've been poorly. I've had no better to do.
We are 8:45, aren't we? Yeah.
I just really want to know.
Do you know what?
Go
on. I was just going to say it'd be a shit podcast if you didn't talk.
Right, we'll try and rattle through these last few. I want to know for my own personal benefit, really. You posted a video ages ago. You found a bug in the Apple Watch clocking marathons. So, do you know, because of your video, I understood why my marathon on my Apple Watch clocked at 3:55. My official time was 4:04.
Can you believe it that they have made that error? So it's actually a bug on the half marathon and the full marathon. So what it does, if you run a half marathon, the Apple Watch, the time it gives you is everything is okay, but when it says you have got a new PB, that is for 20k, and when you do a marathon, it'll give you your PB for 40k. So if you run a marathon, your Apple Watch, and it says, you've got a new PB, it's for 40k. I don't know why they still haven't fixed it.
That's what I was going to ask you. Did they get back to you? No, because I was over the moon. I'm still over the moon, 4:04, but I did 3:55 according to this.
Yeah.
I told him, have you not seen my YouTube channel? Apple. I don't know back yet.
Do you know who I am?
Yeah, exactly. I'm quite a big deal around here, apparently.
Well, I worked it out the other day. I am the best runner on my street.
How many are there?
You're the best runner on your street?
How many are there?
There's literally, there are 13 houses on my street, and I'm the only one that runs.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I think I'm probably the best runner on my street. I didn't even think about that. That's quite...
I'm currently in a...
I'm going to go out the next Hey, like that, you know. Or, yeah.
I'm currently in a battle with somebody in my town that keeps nicking my local legend from a strip of my usual 5K stuff.
Really?
But alternate days, we're taking it off each other.
You're gonna have to sort
I
that
know,
out.
I'm trying. But every time I have a rest night, it must be his run night because I get an email saying, "Can I say his name?"
I actually called a kid that nicked one of my local legends the other day. I was walking that street. I said, "Can I have it, Matthew? Can I have a word, please?" We sort of know each other anyway. But where I'd moved to, I don't run on that same section anymore. So now I'm going to start running back on that section. Just so I've made him aware. You know, he'll be getting an email from him.
I think we've answered that one. How'd you rest? No, go on. How'd you cope with your rest days? What do you do? You used to be a sedentary work, didn't you? You were office based. Have you changed roles now? Haven't you? You've got a new job.
Yeah, I'm a postman.
So you're not sitting still.
Absolutely not. 30,000 steps a day. 25 to 30,000 steps a day.
That's got to help your running.
It can, yeah. For the base, it does. It's built me up a brilliant base. It's helped me lose. I was trying to get another half a stone off, and that flew off. I didn't even have to try. But you're on heavy legs towards end of week. When I've had to start bringing. I'm going to start doing my speed sessions at the start of the week. I was doing them at the end of the week. So once I've done 150,000 steps, and I've already done a long run, a slow run, maybe an easy run, then I've got a speed session at end of the week. It's knackering that speed session up, so I've got to change it around. It's built me a better base, I think, but yeah, there's pros and cons to it. You could pick up an injury a bit easier because you're doing that amount of steps. You just have to be careful, but yeah, so I try not to fly round like some of them mad postmen absolutely zipping round, so I tend to go at a bit of a slower pace. So they all think I'm a bit slow until I turn up and do me round with a pair of alpha flies on one day. We'll see. Right, get your trainers on, lads. Let's postman now. Do you know what I mean?
You can deliver second class next day, can't you?
Exactly. Same day.
One more question, the last one, really. So if you weren't a runner, what other sport would you have got into in your younger days?
Well, I did. I were really good at karting. Well, I said I'm blowing my own trumpet. I were really good at karting, and I just ran out of money. Mum and Dad, you know, it's quite hard when you were younger. It costs a lot of money. I got quite good. I ended up with a proper race license, raced in like Yorkshire Championships and things like that. But it's just the bad thing about that is whoever's got most money is going to win at the end of the day, because your kit, there's no sort of limit to these limits to a degree, but everyone doesn't have the same sort of stuff. We weren't poor or anything like that. It just gets really expensive. So I'd have liked to have done that, but I'm glad that I didn't. Now I look back, I'm a better runner than what I was a karter. I weren't bad at karting, but I'm definitely a better runner. So yeah, if money were no object, I'd probably do that every so often, just a really low level, just for the bit of a feel the need, feel the speed sort of thing.
In vapor flies, yeah.
Yeah, wouldn't it?
I've got one more question that's not on there, and I know we did touch on music earlier, and you don't listen to music when you're out running, but if you're in the car and you press play on your playlist, right? So the question is, I don't know if you know, we have two different sides of the fence that me and Scott sit. Which side of the fence are you sitting on?
Unfortunately, I sit with Scott.
Get in!
God,
5-2.
That is so bad.
But there is the one song, probably on your. It's if I had to listen to a running song through a 5K, it'd be Black Sabbath, Paranoid. That really, really fires me up. That one. If I had to listen to a song, gun to my head, that I don't know what it is about it, and it came on once when I was in gym, and I were on the treadmill. And I went, yeah, let's, looking at my pace, and I was like, yeah. So, but most of the time, I'm chilled in gym, Oasis, listening to, whatever. I mean, the song whatever. I like a bit of that sort of music, really, and I don't mind a bit of 80s. I know that's probably a bit cringe, but a bit.
I'm buzzing.
Do you know, it's the Oasis thing. It's like, no wonder this country's going to pot.
I know. There's a bit of Black Sabbath in there, but it's like I don't know. The song's pretty good. I like that. But yeah, I'll just listen to radio. Most of the time, I'm listening to Taylor Swift with kids in car. Do you know what I mean? It's that. I've got 3 girls, so what? It's down to them. I'd be lying if I didn't say if I didn't know words to some Taylor Swift songs.
So for those that might be listening that are not maybe might be a new introduction to you or of you to them with this podcast. How can people find you if they want to? What's your name of your YouTube channel and your Instagram and what have you?
Yeah, so it's Journey Lee. So Instagram, it's Journey Lee 1. So for some reason, somebody's already taken Journey Lee on Instagram. How dare they? But on YouTube, that's where it's all happening really on there. So it's Journey Lee on YouTube, and then same on Strava. Hit me up on Strava. I like to, if you're a runner as well, I love speaking to people on Strava, sharing workouts and that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'll always try and speak to somebody as well if they want to have a chat on Strava about training and that sort of stuff.
Fantastic.
Definitely.
Well, listen, mate, it's been really good getting to know you a little bit, and I really appreciate your time coming on. I really enjoyed the chat. And for anybody watching, make sure you do go and give Lee a follow. But also, you'll be watching this if you're actually listening to this. Just be aware that this podcast is now available on our new channel, the new RCC PLodcast channel. There will be a link in the description on the Spotify and what have you. But also, I will stick a link in on Freddie Runs on my videos as well. So please do head over to the new channel and show it some love. Give it a little bit of subscribe and click on that bell and all that other fancy stuff that they do. But no, thanks for listening. It's been a really good one, this one, Lee. I really enjoyed it, mate. So thank you again.
It's been a pleasure, both of you. I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, mate. For everybody else, we will catch you on the next one. Thanks again. Bye-bye.
Bye.